It's cleanup time for Nebraska special teams. And, we hit on the long snappers and the kicker issues for Nebraska, but even some of the coverage things.
Yeah.
And, they allowed a 60-some yard return.
61.
To Jimmy Horn.
Yep.
And was that lane issues? Was that height on the kickoff? I mean, those are things that we don't really know the answers to, but those are the type of things that will lose you a Big Ten game.
Yeah, they will. And now credit John Hull, the kicker, the place kicker who made that kickoff, for tracking down Jimmy Horn. But what you saw was him kick to Jimmy Horn and then John Hull be replaced by Brian Buschini as the kickoff man. So obviously something went awry there. Also, Matt Rule mentioned this week that they had a long kickoff opportunity that Nebraska didn't capitalize on. I don't know if someone missed a lane or what, but see, those things matter. Again, that's cleanup time. That's what we're talking about. And you know what, Sean? They're only 2 games in. There's all over the country, there's teams cleaning up loose ends. And whichever team, some of your success or failure is determined by how well right now you clean these things up, how well you attack it, how well you attack perimeter blocking, which has been substandard. How well do you attack the place kicking issues? And I guarantee you, Nebraska has a coach who's on the attack.
There's been good things though with special teams. Like
there has.
Buschini's been great.
He has.
They've had great kickoff coverage for the most part. I mean, last week you tackled Colorado on the 12-yard line.
Right.
That's a huge victory. Sierra Wright on a 57-yard net punt, I believe, makes an open field tackle.
Beautiful tackle, by the way. They've done a lot. It was very schizophrenic last week because there was things that you were just like, wow, that is excellent. And then there were the gaps.
It is so hard when you're running down on a punt of that length to make that tackle.
Yeah. Very athletic play.
And Sierra Wright's a former top 100 recruit. So Nebraska has the luxury of having a lot of really talented players on their special teams units.
Yeah.
A lot of starters play special teams for Nebraska. I mean, you see that field goal block unit. It's like Ty Robinson and Nash. I mean, they don't mess around with those special teams groups.
No. So, yeah, there's just a couple of things. You know what? It kind of makes this week more interesting. Matt Rule kind of set that up by identifying these areas that Nebraska needs to work on. He identified them early in the week. And honestly, it gives us something to kind of watch for on Saturday. Matt is very transparent. Like, he's really transparent.
He said today on Thursday that he goes, maybe I'm a little too transparent.
Did he say that?
I mean, just sometimes like he'll say something and it gets blown up pretty big, I'm surprised sometimes just how blunt he can be, but it really gives you a window. What everybody wants is a window into the program and to understand what's going on. I don't think I've ever covered a head coach here that's better about Rule than laying it all out, just laying it bare. This is what we need to get better on. It puts some pressure on guys that I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe Foley didn't feel any pressure this week. Maybe Garrett McGuire didn't. I wouldn't be surprised if they felt a little bit, though. But
when your boss goes publicly and says we got to get better in these areas, people are going to be watching.
The fan base, though, and even the media coverage, I think, adds to it. I mean, there's a lot of places where if you've been on the run that Nebraska's been on, and you're 2-0 right now, you're like, this is awesome,
right?
But here, there's such a microscope on every little detail that you get nitpicky. And the people that have covered this team and the fan base that have followed it, they have tasted championships before, and they still have that mentality.
They still do. And also, I would add to that, it's kind of an interesting mix because there's a little skittish too. Like, I feel like when I'm talking about this long snapping thing, I'm being a little skittish. Like, just calm down,
Like if a Wisconsin fan was watching this,
right?
Like, these Nebraska people are freaking nuts. They just spent 10 minutes analyzing long snappers after a 2-0 start.
Right. It's sort of peculiar, right?
But when you've been scarred like a Nebraska fan has been watching the blunders play out, I mean, you take it all serious.
There's that, and there's a level of care too we have, which is that's
kind of what makes the program go. It's all very interesting concoction because that, Sean, I would bring it to this. That level of caring largely explains that scene in the stadium at Colorado against Colorado, which is an incredible scene that we should never, as a population base, take for granted. Nebraska's game day production and scene because of the fans and the energy is incredible.
They had a 3.5-hour commercial on TV for Nebraska.
Yeah, just like Michigan a couple years ago. That's what that was when they played Michigan. That was an incredible scene. And if you do this little experiment, Sean, watch game. You can't because you're covering games on Saturday, but do what I do sometimes and flip through games and note the energy at some games compared to others. You'll flip to a game and it's quiet. You're just like, wow, that's quiet. Then you'll flip to another one, usually an SEC game. You're like, ooh, damn, that's loud. If you flip to a Nebraska game, loud. I mean, that's a loud scene. It's alive. It's alive on your screen. There's some dead games on your screen.
And
Sean.
the student section crowd was amazing. And
yeah,
it's really hard to get a lot of schools struggle to get great student crowds now. I mean, you have to give them a right to show up.
Oh, Nebraska students were there super early. I mean, I get there for that game last week was a 6:30 game. I got there at 4:30. The student section was almost packed. I mean, that's amazing to me. Maybe I got there at 4:45.
No, they let them in early because the line was so long. And I guess the south, there's two areas. The east section is kind of like the more premium student seats that people wait in line even earlier for. Then there's the bigger area in the south. Well, the south gate got opened first, and a lot of those guys jumped the wall or jump the rail.
The railing,
to get over.
There you go.
So
how would you jump that?
Well, they get their stairways and then they ran up and they occupied the east seats.
Interesting, but look at that.
That little east section there, that's the prime student real estate, and then the south is kind of the tucked back more.
Yeah, they got the students going. Hopefully they'll be going. I would think they'll be going Saturday night. And again, another benefit of this game, these night, like if you're worried about a lull, Nebraska having a letdown after Colorado, it's sort of solved to me by the fact that it's under the lights. Nebraska's defense is going to feed off the energy once again. I don't even know if I'd predict UNI to be kept out of the end zone if it was an 11 a.m. game. I don't know if I would, but the fact it's a night game and that energy is incredible and that defense feeds off of it and the crowd feeds off the defense, that's why I think it'll be really that much harder for UNI.
Well, I'll tell you, you can measure how engaged this fan base is by just looking at the ticket market. Normally this is the game where you're just giving your tickets to somebody. Yeah, we're going to take this.
What have you seen?
Tickets are expensive still. Like,
wow,
the market is still solid. There's not a lot of, a lot of $20 tickets or $30. No, it's a strong ticket market right now.
Sean, I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't have guessed that. That's interesting. That's good to hear. It's really good to hear.
So, I mean, it's holding in the prices of tickets went up after the Colorado win on the ticket market. So that's a good sign. And I've said this many times. If they win this game and they win Illinois and they go out to Purdue 4-0, there will be 10,000 Nebraska fans at Purdue. There will be.
In Nebraska, you can use that at Purdue. Now we've butted heads over this topic. You play in a dead stadium on the road, that's not easy. It's not easy. You want some life. So 10,000 Nebraska fans at Purdue, if it's a dead stadium, would really help.
And I had some people try to challenge us a little bit that they didn't really storm the field. Does that look like a field storm to you, Steve?
Yeah, they stormed it.
They're on the field.
Well, yeah, look at that. I mean, what more evidence would you need than that photo?
What blew me away was Nebraska has not taken the field at a game. 95 Oklahoma, they had kind of a mild
fans. You mean?
Yeah, fans storming. But in 94 Colorado, those were the last two times.
Jeez, that's a long time.
So 30 years between field. I think it was okay they did it. I mean, there's a lot of the get off my lawn fans that
I know.
We're above this. I mean, these kids were not, but they had a great night. No, great memory.
No, I like your take on that.
So
I have no problem with people having fun.
Old people, but kids also don't want to hear old guys like us tell them not to do something.
Right. They don't. And I'm not. Surprisingly, on this topic, I'm not the get off the lawn guy. I'm not.
We're not boomer. I'm not a boomer.
I'm a boomer.
Are you a boomer?
Oh no, I'm not even a boomer. I'm Gen X. I'm late Gen X.
So I'm like the youngest you can be to be Gen X.
Yeah. Okay. And interesting because if you're the youngest you can be to be Gen X, I'm pretty much in that oldest category. I'm an old Gen X.
So I'm skilled with the old time work ethic, and I know the technology, the millennials. That's kind of my advantage.
Yeah, you're lucky. I'm kind of like that too.
Where I'm not quite a boomer.
No, you're not a boomer. I'm not a boomer either.
I sure hope I'm not.
No, you're not.
All right, but
I'm not even a boomer. I'm not.
My dad would be, I guess.
Yeah, your dad's a boomer.